India to replace China, the new monarch in the world of oil, Moody's report. Can you believe that the country which was once the pivot of the global oil market is now about to be overtaken by an emerging economy? The country that once accelerated global demand for crude oil is now stepping back, and taking its place is India. Yes, India, which until now relied heavily on oil imports, is on track to become the largest contributor to global oil demand in the coming decade. This isn't just a report, but a knock of economic transformation that could completely reshape global energy geopolitics. And this change won't happen overnight. It will be a gradual process that will influence global policies over the next few years. Today, we'll discuss this topic in depth. But before that, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you always get the latest updates first. So let's begin today's discussion without any delay. Rating agency Moody's, in an explosive report released on Thursday, claimed that over the next 10 years, China's economic momentum will slow and its oil consumption will plateau, while India's oil demand will surge. This shift isn't just a game of statistics. It signifies how India is emerging as a new leader on the World Economic Forum stage, especially in the energy sector, which has long been dominated by the West and China. It marks a historic turning point where developing countries may begin to outpace developed nations in oil consumption. Currently, China is the world's second-largest oil consumer, and India ranks third. But now, according to Moody's report, there's a clear divergence in the consumption trends of the two countries. In China, the rising adoption of electric vehicles, economic slowdown, and shift toward green energy are curbing oil demand. On the other hand, India's rising use of petrol and diesel vehicles, expanding industries, and rapid population growth are pushing oil demand to new heights. All of this is part of a socio-economic transition that is propelling India toward the status of a major industrial power. According to Moody's, China's oil consumption will peak within the next 3 to 5 years. After that, demand may either stabilize or decline. In contrast, India is expected to see an annual growth of 3% to 5% in oil demand during the same period. This means that while China's energy appetite is plateauing, India is stepping into a new energy revolution. And this growth won't just be economic, it will also translate into political and diplomatic influence, elevating India's role in global affairs like never before. This transformation won't be limited to consumption alone. It will reshape oil-producing nations, international pricing, and global geopolitical dynamics. When India becomes the largest driver of global oil demand, countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and others will turn their focus toward India. India's voice will carry more weight at OPEC table, and even the US and Europe will need to prioritize India in their energy strategies. It will be a time when India's needs form the core of global energy policy. However, the road to this success isn't without obstacles. Moody's report also warns that India's domestic oil production is steadily declining. If this trend isn't reversed, the country's dependence on imports will grow further. This could disrupt economic stability, widen the current account deficit, and increase pressure on the Indian rupee, leading to higher inflation and rising import costs. Compared to China, India's position is weaker in this regard, as its oil companies are still dependent on older wells, and the pace of investment in them is slow. Indian national oil companies, NOC, are making plans to increase domestic production, but implementation is slow. In contrast, China's NOC companies have significantly strengthened their production through aggressive investment and technological improvements. These companies have increased investments at the global level and started exploring new resources, making them far more self-reliant than India. Moody's also stated that Indian oil companies are under more pressure to invest in green technologies. On one hand, they are trying to move toward clean energy, and on the other, they have to maintain oil production as well. This dual responsibility could put them under financial stress, especially when global financial institutions are now prioritizing green projects. Balancing this two-pronged strategy may prove to be India's biggest policy challenge in the coming years. So, what should India do in this situation? Experts believe that India needs to adopt a multi-layered strategy. First, it must invest in technology to boost domestic oil production. Second, it should enhance its refining capacity so it can make better value use of imported crude oil. Third, it must strengthen its strategic reserves so that during global crises, it can be self-reliant. Along with this, India must rapidly focus on alternative energy sources so it can ensure long-term energy security. Moody's report also highlighted that the expansion of India's energy demand will not be limited to vehicles alone. Oil consumption will rise rapidly in industry, agriculture, manufacturing, and urbanization. As India moves swiftly into the digital and industrial age, its energy requirements will multiply significantly. Investments in smart cities, bullet trains, airports, ports, and the defense sector will further elevate energy demand, thereby strengthening India's global role. India must also ensure a balance between oil and clean energy. Overdependence on oil could lead to new economic and environmental challenges. That's why the government has accelerated investments in solar and hydrogen energy under several initiatives, but this momentum needs to grow further. If India manages this energy transition in time, then in the coming years it won't just overtake China, but may emerge as the new leader in global energy politics.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources: news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.